Hey everyone, welcome back to RPG Imaginings. I got a package in the mail today that I was not necessarily expecting today. I knew it was on the way, and I'm actually not sure precisely what this is. I have a guess. I'm pretty sure that this is a Kickstarter that I had backed last year, and I think that this is the one that was due in March or April, but there were some significant delays for it. But I felt like the feedback on it was pretty good, and so I can be patient, and I knew it wasn't going to arrive in time for me to use it for a certain event, and so I thought that this was one that I could wait for, and here we go, it arrived. And so let's see if this is what I think it is. And so let's cut into it. And we have some packaging in there. I'm actually going to move it out of the way real quick just so that I can check to verify that there aren't any packing slips or anything in there. And inside we have another parcel. And yep, just as I expected, here are the cards. The powered character deck, and here is my Deluxe edition core book for Kids on Bikes RPG. Wow, looks great. And so this is the variant cover that was put out there for purchasing the Deluxe edition. And normally I don't go into Deluxe editions on Kickstarters because I don't know what the content of the book is going to be or whether or not I like it. But this is one in particular that I felt pretty confident that, since this is an RPG that I had been anticipating for quite some time, and when I first took a look at the Kickstarter, I'm like, wow, this sounds really great. Of course, Kids on Bikes, kind of a minimalist RPG where you have just your 5 standard dice, D20, D12, D10, D8, D6, 6 standardized D4s, and those make up your attributes. And that's it. You just roll one of those dice for an attribute. And of course, on the popularity of Stranger Things and on the nostalgia wave for 80s buddy kid movies like The Goonies, of course, would be the classic example that there's a lot of nostalgia going right now for these sorts of nostalgia experiences for the 1980s. And so I also ordered as an add-on the powered character deck, which is basically just a randomized way for you to double check or to select powers for a powered character. Another interesting thing about Kids on Bikes is that with the popularity of Stranger Things and sort of doing this spooky thing happening in your town sort of style of thing, they included an option for powered characters. And I haven't really looked too deeply into the mechanics for this. I've had the PDF for some time, but the PDF is not my desired form of reading about any sort of gaming thing that I'm doing. And so usually what I do is I get the PDF, I give it a quick once over to see if there's something really interesting that I really want to read digitally. But a lot of the times I just wait for the physical project to arrive months and months after I get the PDF. And so PDF is useful if you want to run a game, of course, and have handouts for your players. But for me, for what I mostly use RPGs for is bedtime reading, and so that's what this is for. And so here we have Kids on Bikes powered character deck. We'll get to this in a second, but first things first, let's take a look at the Deluxe Edition rulebook. It's got a really nice matte cover on it with this great secondary art piece that is not on the main cover for Kids on Bikes. If you happen to get your hands on Kids on Bikes Quick Start Rules, which was offered at Free RPG Day in June of this year, 2018, the cover that you saw there is the regular edition cover for Kids on Bikes RPG. And then on the back, we have, well, what we'd expect to see Kids on Bikes with when they have flashlights. And I'm actually going to move the camera a little bit closer because I had it up there so that I could get the just the box in frame, but now I'll put it at a height that is a little bit more conducive for reading the book. And so, the door to the old house creaks open, the rust on the hinges groaning as you see the dust floating like spores in the air inside. By the faint light of your cheap flashlights, you see the stairs to the upper floor, its railings gnarled and broken like crooked teeth. Their curve makes the stairs seem almost like a hungry grin, and you wonder if their age will support your weight. Still, you must go in. The only question is, choose who will go first. In Kids on Bikes, you'll take on the roles of everyday people grappling with strange, terrifying, and very, very powerful forces that they cannot defeat, control, or even fully understand. Gee, sounds like another popular RPG that I'm heavily invested in. Could that be Call of Cthulhu? The only way to face them is to work together, use your strengths, and know when you just have to run as fast as you can. Now, Kids on Bikes is in the style of Baron Munchausen or Hillfolk, which are games that are more focused on the players just sitting around, minimalist mechanics, but then developing character interactions and the location where they are together. And so I like these sort of minimalist styles RPG. Wow, I love this purple interior here. And then here we go, Kids on Bikes Deluxe Edition. Comic on the inside. Okay, I'm going to skip over this. I'll read that later when I get a chance. And here we are to our color pages, setting boundaries. Before starting to create your characters, you and the Game Master GM should address the kinds of things that the players want to see in the games and the things that they don't want to see. Ooh, this is a really good start to any role-playing game, especially one like Call of Cthulhu or this one that deals with the macabre. And so it's really great to see that right up front. It's good for players and GMs to have open communication about those sorts of things. And so a couple notes on world building, character creation, which you can see character creation very simple because the main statistics are just based off of the 6 primary dice, and you have 6 stats, of course, so brains, brawn, fight, flight, charm, and grit, and they're all linked to one of these dice. And then in addition to that, you just mostly spend some time thinking about, like, what is your character afraid of? What do they keep in their backpack? What are some trope-specific questions that you might have? And then, hey, so this is an homage piece right here, right off of Goonies, as you can see. So you have Data and Chunk right there. Clearly an homage to them in this artwork. And so how do you play the game? Well, what are some of the difficulty levels that you have based upon those stat checks? And most of this book is not devoted to rules, which I really appreciate. By the way, I really like the size of this book. It seems appropriate for a system of this nature. It's akin to Savage Worlds Explorers Edition, which is a smaller size rather than a full-size RPG book, so it's easy for you to carry this around. Guidelines for failure success: by how much do you beat the DC or fail the DC? And I like those sort of variable outcome systems as well. And so, yeah, the system is part what drew me to this. Part what drew me to this is that it's very Call of Cthulhu-esque, and so it's an investigative role-playing game, that it's a minimalist mechanic role-playing game. So I knew that I wanted to grab the deluxe edition for this. Rules for powered characters, and I believe that they have some mechanics in here that basically introduces some costs to the... Or actually, here's what it is. Every player will play the powered character at some point throughout the adventure, so that there's not like this power grab, like, for example, what happened to Star Wars Galaxies, where everybody wanted to play a Jedi, but they didn't want everybody playing a Jedi, and it was a huge disaster. So how do you manage those really cool, powerful characters that everybody wants to play? And then there's a GM section here. Relationship questions, a key thing for starting up the game, both positive and negative. What are some of the strengths and flaws that your characters might have? Personality traits, very easy to use appendices here. The different tropes that your character might fall into. Are you a stoic professional? Are you a scout? Are you a wannabe? Sort of those old high school archetypes. Difficulty ratings and consequences. And then this is the character sheet. Really simple. So this next section, this whole next section of the book is adventure modules of like little scenario seeds that the GM can just pick up the book and play. And I'm going to deliberately skip through these, but this was a large part of what the stretch goals were all about for this Kickstarter. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It looks like the same number on the other page. So 20 strange events in small towns that you can use for inspiration and get the game going right away. I think that that's really cool. Some introductions to the modules, and then some just additional thanks in the book here at the end. And that wraps up the core book. Really high quality product. I'm so glad that I invested in this. This is going to be a fun evening read, and I really hope I get a chance to play this, especially at my school game club, because this seems like the sort of thing that my high schoolers would really enjoy playing as well. And so there's that. Now, speaking of that, let's take a look at these. Well, I could probably leave it in frame here. Let's take a look at these powered character decks. Okay, so I think the idea behind this is that sometimes you might just want to randomize the powers that a powered character has. So, on the back says Kids on Bikes, and some of these cards it looks like there's a specific power here, telekinesis. Some of these lacks an internal monologue, so that sounds like it's a flaw for your characters. And so let me see if I can find where the opening piece is. Anybody who knows me knows that I don't have nails, so this could be a difficult... Oh, is that it? Yep, that's it right there. Okay, so open up one pack of cards. Open up a second pack of cards, if I can get it. I mean, I'd use the knife on this, but I don't want to damage the cards when I can just spend a little bit longer finding where the little nubby thing is. There we go, got it. Well, enough of it anyway that I can open up the pack. And so, here's some of these powered character decks that I assume will be available at retail at some point because, you know, there's retail pricing on the package. So telekinesis, precognition, pyrokinesis, various powers that your character might have in these cards, teleportation, hypnosis. Okay, and then here we have some more of these flaws and perks. Scared of the dark, loves animals, highly concerned with others, sarcastic, very intelligent. So these are all things that you can throw out to your players in case they need a little bit of inspiration. Lacks an internal monologue. I really like that. Profoundly claustrophobic, scared of loud noises, scared of dogs, impulsive, ignorant of social norms, scared of being inside, afraid of a member of the group. These are just a lot of really fun role-playing hooks that you can use in combination with the game in case you want to sort of randomize what's happening. And so, you know, I think it was pretty reasonable. I think for an add-on it was, you know, maybe $10 I think for the add-on, which the retail on that would be $15. So, you know, I jumped on that as well because I see this as a game that I would really, really want to play at some point. I hope I get a chance sometime to play this with my adult friends as well. And so, you know, I'll keep you posted on this one. I'm really excited about Kids on Bikes RPGs. RPG seems like a really cool system, and so just got the Kickstarter in the mail today. And so creators Jonathan Gilmore and Doug Lewandowski, thanks so much for working so hard on this product and finally getting out to us. It was late, but I think that you did a really good job with communication, and I really appreciate that. And at the end of the day, if we get an awesome product and it's delayed and we're communicated with the delays, that's awesome. There's some Kickstarters that they're delayed, but the creator will not do a very good job of describing what the delay is, or will seem wishy-washy, and that's where it's a little bit harder to have patience. But for this, it was pretty easy for me to have patience, and I'm so excited that I got a chance to check out this product. And so thanks for watching.